everybody. This is Joshua Hatton with One Nation Under Whiskey podcast. I'm joined today, and I am joined as always by my good friend, my business partner, the apparently seizing, twitchy Jason Neal, Patrick Harris, Johnston Yellner. Are you throwing eyebrows at me? Just like
Ooh
eyebrows,
la
eyebrows.
la.
Ooh, all right. Is it that type of
Hello.
episode?
Are we here?
Yeah, I think
Is
we're
this
here.
today?
It's today. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me.
This
Hello.
is an extra episode, Jason.
Well,
Mhm.
let's make it so.
Yeah. Normally this would be an industry extra episode where we focus on other aspects of the industry. But we're focusing on Single Cask Nation. I mean, we are in the industry, right?
We
We
are.
Right?
Long time.
But we're going to be selfish,
That's
and we're going to
lovely.
be focusing on Single Cask Nation because there's some big a-doings.
Big news
Right?
to hear all about.
Right. Yeah. Listen, before we get to this big news, I want to bring something that's perhaps even bigger news to your attention, to the attention of the listeners. I think is really important. We got an email from Michael Applebaum, Blum,
Yeah.
Michael Applebaum. Yeah. And Michael, I apologize. I just I mispronounced
Panicked?
your name. What's that? I panicked. Blum, Blum. And so he sent an email, which is basically like a tome, like it came out
It's
in
a
a scroll.
beautiful email.
And so we can't read the whole thing, I don't think.
No,
we don't have that many minutes in the day.
No, it's an extra. Gotta get through this.
Yeah. So I'm going to read bits and pieces, but there's a spot in here that I think is important for you, Jason, because you now have the ability to do something, and you have a homework assignment now. And maybe
you're going to read the bit we weren't going to read.
No, it's just
okay.
Just something. I don't know.
Let's see what words are about to come out of Joshua's mouth.
Okay. I'll present it in a way that I'll just present it in a way. Okay. So he just says, gents, I hope this finds you well as we've started the new year. I listened to today's extra and your notes on the October online release of the Auchintashen 13-year-old, which we're going to touch on today, as well as some more releases as well, right? Little hint, little nudge. And he goes on and he talks about his raising of his sukkah and celebrating of some of the Jewish holidays here.
Indeed.
He says, as we have gathering in the sukkah later this week, I look forward to exposing some friends to offerings of the nation and hopefully bring them into the fold and joining the community. So thank you very much for that.
So welcoming communities. Good to have new folk find the nation. We love having you here.
Yeah, indeed. He goes on, he says, I wanted to praise your podcast episodes during 2025 thus far. Between your notes on the online releases, conversations with producers, bottlers, reviews of non-SCN whiskeys, shout-outs to nation members, and the reach back to your journey to bottle the spirits you provide, to name a few, all have really provided great color as to your influences and what defines the palette of Single Cask Nation.
Yeah, I like that part. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, really wonderful, wonderful, kind words.
And I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. He talks about your conversation with Scott Harris over at the Hatton Creek. Which you really, really enjoyed, and overall your relationship and the fact that Catoctin Creek is a go-to rye for him.
Yep.
And
Yep. Rightly so. I'm
yeah,
hearing that from more and more people since the Scott Harris episode came out. Folk are like, yeah, Cadalton Creek's my go-to. That's
uh,
great to hear. Really great. Passing that on to Scott and Becky Harris as well.
right. Yeah, I love that. And a small producer, right? Which is great, you know.
Yep.
And then my conversation with Jack, the hood sommelier, and I
Mm.
basically converted him. He was basically anti balcones, and I've converted him to pro balcones with our peated balcones, which was really nice to hear. And that's part of what we do, right? Turning heads, convincing people, um, who right, either turning people onto a new distillery or changing people's minds on a distillery, right? I think that's
Yeah.
part of our remit as an independent bottler.
Yeah. No, the
Right.
Balcones is absolutely crushing. The
Yeah.
feedback on it is unsurpassed.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the whiskies that has surprised the nation the most
Yeah.
in 2025. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love pouring it. I love turning people's heads. I'm going to take it to Southern California with me in the second half of November. I'm going to pour a lot of it and try to turn more heads. So it's
Yeah.
a really exciting whiskey to be pouring.
He says, while listening on the go has been optimal, having the option of the video has been a game changer. Seeing some of the banter makes it much more enjoyable, at least for me, makes listening more relatable and inclusive. So, first off, that's awesome. And anybody who's watching this, by the way, anybody who's listening to this right now, you now have the option to be watching this, because right now, Jason, you and I are live. Like, I could see your face. Viewers could
I
see your
I
face.
was I was nodding my head in agreement for the viewers. That's what I was doing. But no, and this is the tough part, right? This is the part you and I have discussed is, we love, love, love our listeners. Our listeners have supported us for 9 seasons. We're not in any way turning our back on our listeners. We're adding value for
Yeah.
those who would want to watch, right? And
Mhm.
it's our mugs. If nothing else, tune into YouTube. You can see me roll my eyes at the things Joshua says. You don't just have to hear me roll my eyes. So, you know.
Um, okay, I'm going to add in one last thing, and then I'm going to carefully word the thing that I'm not supposed to say, but I'm going to carefully word it so that I can say it. Is it? Do you think
Yeah.
I can do that, Jason?
Viewers can see me roll my eyes and shake my head right now. Listeners, I'm rolling my eyes and shaking my head right now.
So he says, regarding your selections, the rare and interesting casks you bring to the nation makes your bottles truly stand out. And I'm thankful for that. I remember when I started my whiskey journey and how intimidating it was looking at the shelves and early interactions with producers at a tasting. This seems to be part of the journey, and fortunately, it has been tempered by having a whiskey community. Having met the two of you, let me repeat that again. Having met the two of you have helped further that journey. It's refreshing to know that you were really on both sides of the bottled by whiskey geeks for whiskey geeks the world over
That's it.
statement on your bottles. I really, that really is true. It's not marketing bullshit. That is
Yeah.
who we are, what it is, what we do, and how we do it.
um,
Put out.
what thought did I have before Joshua started rambling? What it is, what we do, that we do was the original
Well, what it
statement.
is,
That was
what we
your
do, that
original
we do.
butchered
That's
version of
that's
that.
how I
So.
broke the English language. Yes. That's what I used to say.
but I think to Michael's point here about us being whiskey geeks, true whiskey geeks, here's today's episode. Our industry side is in place of the regular industry side. Like, we still pay attention to the industry. We still follow the industry. We still follow other people's bottlings. We still buy other people's bottlings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always appreciate it when somebody sees us for who we are, and really sees, again, the value added by being in a community with fellow whiskey geeks who are fortunate to be tasting samples and fortunate to be selecting casks. And my gosh, there's a reason we brought Jess into this family, right? She's an uber whiskey geek as well. She's involved in judging of other people's products, right? So yeah, I love it. I love that Michael's seen that, and I know that other elements of the nation see that as well. So to be authentic, we've talked about this for decade and a half. Being authentic is, the number one reason we're here doing what we do.
Yep, exactly. And then the final thing, here we are. I don't know how many, maybe it was 2 months ago, I brought to your attention, one of the most important movies to come out of the 80s, and that was Kenny Rogers' Six Pack.
That's it.
And Michael had found a way, I don't know how he did it, but he found a way for you to be able to watch this.
He's a generous
And
soul.
right, a generous soul. And so now you have the ability to watch this. And so I'm going to do the same. I'm going to rewatch this, and I'm going to pop some popcorn. I may pour some whiskey, probably the finest whiskey, to go along with one of the America's finest films.
I was thinking I would go to my local convenience store and pick up a six-pack.
Oh, yes. What beer do you pour? It's got to be like Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's got to be something.
Yeah, I like a cheeky wee PBR. I don't know if I can drink 6 PBR, but a cheeky wee PBR.
Not with that attitude.
Honestly, you end up having to pee more than you spend time drinking.
PBR. Yeah, I get it.
Just want to pour it straight down the toilet, save myself some time. I'm glad he leaned in on the six-pack fun as well. And so, yeah, maybe before 25 is out, Jason will have seen Six-Pack, the greatest effort in the Kenny Rogers pantheon. It'll be really special. So cheers to Michael.
Yeah, cheers to Michael. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get into the crux of the matter here. Last news episode, you and I, we shared news. We said, nation, listeners, viewers, come October 23rd, we are going to be launching 3 new whiskeys, and I showed them. I even, where's my mouse, right? I even showed them. I said, hey, we're going to be launching an Oct 13 that spent time in an ex-peated cask, and we shared the notes on that. We tasted through them, and like, when have you ever had a peated Oct? Didn't make sense. And then we talked about a linkwood, first fill bourbon linkwood, just classic, like everything you could want, right?
Beauty.
And then what do we do? Another remit of an independent bottler of Single Cask Nation. Let's zig when a distillery zags, that we would be releasing a Glenallachie from a toasted oak rather than sherry cask.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And
just very quickly on the Glenallachie, Jess wrote in to say our global markets actually had the first Single Cask Nation Glenallachie. But this is the first Glenallachie for the US portion of the nation.
Thank you, Jess. Hey, she's very good at correcting us. Thank you, Jess.
Well, and the same is true, I believe, for, oh gosh, there's a second thing she corrected us on as well.
Oh boy.
But global markets got that first as well.
Yeah.
So in true American fashion, right? If it hasn't come to the US, has it really happened? An entire country has been built on that ethos. And I have leaned into it. And so,
oh, look at you. So right, we said that. We said October 23rd. And the fact of the matter is, things happen. And sometimes timelines change. And the logistics gods can be against you. And here we are living in a world where logistics gods simply were against us, and other factors as well.
Yeah, I would make it more positive than that. I would say I think it's quite nice to have new livery, close out the year, and bring 6 cracking bottles to the fore, right? Like these are 6 bottles that are beautiful together, well worth sharing in a gigantic bundle, well worth bringing in at holiday season,
Oh,
festive
I
season,
love
and
this.
sharing as many as possible with your friends,
Oh,
right? I
Jason.
wouldn't, dude, this has been a long, hard year. Like, let's keep it positive as we close it
Oh,
out, right? This is
Jason, I love this.
right.
You are like one of the most negative people, and
And
you've turned the beat around. You've turned the beat around. You've
yeah,
like
I'm
I'm
not
usually
gonna.
the positive guy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about logistics this late into 2025. It's gonna be. My gosh, you just made mention of a classic Linkwood, a peated cask Auchintosh,
This is true.
and something else that I lost track of. What was the something else I lost track of? Oh, the
Uh,
Glenallachie,
is the
right?
Glenallachie? Yeah, yeah.
I was forgetting America was doing one. I always think about the global Glenallachie,
Mhm.
and I hadn't even thought about America doing one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay, so
um,
okay,
right.
okay.
And
So
so
all right,
let's keep that rolling. Yeah, let's go into the first cask here.
all right. So let's keep it. Well, let me finish this up here, right? So, keeping it positive, we are moving our October 23rd launch date, and we are going to couple our October releases with our November releases, and we are launching on November 6th not just 3 bottles, but 6 bottles. And we're going to talk about the other 3 just now. But we're also going to be launching a brand spanking new website, which
Indeed.
is awesome. I am so psyched about that. We've been working on that diligently in the background, and it is looking so cool. Here's a cool thing about it too, Jason. Before we get into tasting these, for those nation members who had been with us from the very beginning, back in like we started sales in 2012, even though we launched in 2011, we
Yep.
started sales in 2012. All of that old data, that sales data going all the way back then, if you were a nation member going back then, you can reactivate your old account and get access to all of your old
Yeah, it's
purchase
really cool.
history,
That's really cool to
right?
to return a history to
Mhm.
the nation.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
is really cool, and we know we've had various OGs reaching out. You know, I'd like to see my old orders. We've had people reach out. Another aspect here and say, "Are you going to bring back the archive?" You know, I used to enjoy searching the old site. I could look up the previous bottles. I could check details for bottles that I have on my shelf that are no longer on the website. And so, again, working behind the scenes, it will take time. That cannot be emphasized enough. It will take time, but the archive will come back as well.
Mhm.
That's really cool development and
Yeah.
real, again, recognition of OGs. And at this point, like you say, we established in 2011, we started bottle sales in 2012, right? We're 13 years into sales here. You get to see what you've been up to. You get to see the background here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is hugely important. So asking on behalf of those OGs who would send us an email asking this very question,
Mm.
will their sales, will their purchases of the last 18 months be rolled into the new website? Will that be
Ah,
included in their history?
very good question. So that is something that we are working on right now.
Awesome.
So we went from one platform to a newer platform, and these past 18 months is that newer platform, and we're going back to the original one. And so it's a matter of restructuring the data from those past 18 months to go back into that previous platform. And that's not as easy
Yeah.
as all of that old, the you know the you know the majority of the data, if you will. So we're
Yeah.
working on that. If we can do it for launch date, happy
Oh,
days. But if not, it's coming. It is coming.
Yeah, no, you know we're going to hear that question because it's our,
Yeah.
the nation asks good questions, and that's definitely going to be one of them. So
yeah, the good news is the tools are available to us, and it's just a matter of lining everything up. As you can imagine, it's all a matter of putting it into special spreadsheets and telling computers what to do, and so we
before
will
they
make it.
before they take over your mind and fight back.
Yeah.
The last chance you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting, and seeing the website and development, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited for the nation to see it. On top of what we were saying in the last extra, the caricatures have been updated along the way as well. Here, I saw some new ones in an email last week that were cracking. I haven't had any of the people reach out yet that have seen themselves. So keep your eyes peeled as we go along here. But yeah, as we say, you are the nation, and as we hear on the road, I am the nation.
The nation. I
This
love that.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready for some casks? Can talk some more
Yeah.
business as we go.
Yeah, let's pour some whiskey. So, I mean, we're still waiting for our own full bottles to get to us, so we're working on our little sample, guys. All right. What do you? I mean, I've been jealous of you. You've been nosing and you've been tasting. So why don't you start talking?
I've just been sitting here with these lovely red fruit notes on the nose. Strawberries kind of keep coming and going in here, along with some fresh oak shavings. Oh, a classic that we talk about. I think more than I hear other people talk about it. I don't know if it's where our noses go. Very much to Michael Applebaum's point here. Like I think, without us necessarily keeping score, there are key components we talk about or are attracted to with our palates. But on the nose, grilled pineapple. And I feel like we talk about grilled pineapple a fair bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about tasting notes is you tend to rely on things you're comfortable with, on things that right? And grilled pineapple is a thing that I do. I imagine it's a thing that you do.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Right?
Well, the other part for me is that I'm not even sure how much of it is a voluntary connection, right? If sensory is in the lizard brain, there's just a moment where you go, boom, that's an experience I had in my life. Boom, that's a thing.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
And I think, boom, when you stand at a grill and you're working on grilled pineapple, that's in there. That's deep in the lizard brain. And we keep pulling it out for some of our nose notes.
Did you mention the vanilla ice cream, the sort of melting kind of vanilla ice cream going
I
on there?
didn't. I left that door open for you.
Oh boy, that's nice. But it's the vanilla ice cream, but you get the char going on on the edges of that pineapple, that sort of sweet char going on.
And that's the point I was about to return to there. You just said sweet char.
Yeah.
And this has point, counterpoint. This has balance on the nose. And I just keep returning to, it's sweet, but it's not floating away into the ether. It's sweet, but it's grounded. It's sweet, but it's charred. Yeah, it really lands well.
Yeah, this is I'm looking forward to the reveal of this bottle, because we like to release more unusual ones, so this one's going to be fun, but just revisiting this one and remembering why we said yes to it is really great.
Yeah, the black pepper is so active on the palate there. You get these red fruit, sweet char notes on the nose. And then that black pepper is so grounding, but still with developed sweetness. Oh,
This
dried
is
cherries.
so, dude, that's where I was going. Like, my mom used to always get these like Ghirardelli dried cherries covered with chocolate.
Checks out.
right?
100%.
And that's it. And I would take the chocolate off, and then you'd focus on the dried cherry that's going on in there. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Palette has one of those ones that I think about with Jess. We know Jess is very into her Swedish baking and cardamom. I get cardamom on the
Oh
palette
yeah.
here.
Yeah, a little ground cardamom. Get it in
Oh,
Indian food sometimes. Not
oh.
the intensity where you accidentally bite into a cardamom pod, but that sort of sprinkled on kind of cardamom, you know? Yeah, everything in its right place, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice.
Yeah, very seasonal on this one.
Mm.
Mm.
Man, there's a sweetness to the finish, almost like a really round sweetness to it on the finish. I think it gets back to some of that strawberry that you were talking about on the nose.
Well,
Right?
I think we're still in Sweden for parts of this lingonberry jam happening on the finish.
Did you go to IKEA recently?
Oh,
Is that what's going on?
the only thing it's missing is meatballs.
That's my favorite Swedish word, meatballs. Boop, boop, boop.
I tell
Mm,
you what's amazing about this one is it's so seasonal. Like I can, as I'm tasting this, there's a Hanukkah burning on the dining room table. There's a
mm.
Christmas tree over in the corner of the room. Maybe there's a fire in the hearth. Like this, it's so beautifully seasonal. However, in the interest of full disclosure, see if we'd released this in March, this would fit March as well. Like this
Oh,
feels
dude.
multi-seasonal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, this I can as weather starts getting from bitter cold to, like, flowers starting to sprout and that sun starts to get warm, like, yeah, I would be pouring this. Yes, I see a
I've
look
talked
on your
myself into
face.
pine trees as well.
Right, and there you go, back to the seasonal, right? Like, are we going as intense as balsam and fir? Not that intense.
Not that intense, but there's definitely a forest wood note there. Yeah, that's a little bit of pine needle
Oh,
specifically.
kind of reminiscent of our pre-rum, right?
Ah,
Yeah, I like
now you're
that.
cooking with Ipri.
Mm.
Mm.
Alright, are we
All right, so what is this? Let's tell
alright,
let's tell the paying customers.
alright. So this is it. So this says Loch Lomond. It's a Loch
Mm.
Lomond 17-year-old, but more specifically, I mean, this is where it gets fun. This is where it gets interesting. It's super interesting. So this is a 17-year-old Inchmarin. And for those that don't know, right, Inchmarin from Loch Lomond is their unpeated spirit. And I recently did some heavy digging into the Inchmarin spirit. And Inchmarin is it's a spirit where they take spirit from two stills, unpeated spirit from their copper pot stills, and then unpeated spirit from their Lomond stills. And on their copper pot stills, they take a high cut,
Mm.
so a higher hearts cut, and on their Lomond stills, not so high cut, but they're using a Chardonnay yeast, a
Wild,
wine yeast, and
wild.
then they would marry those 2 spirits together. Um, well, I think what they would do is they would mature them separately and then marry those 2 spirits together to create an Inchmarin product.
Mm.
And what we have here is the Lomond still distillate with the Chardonnay yeast. And then this whiskey spent what? It spent the majority of its life in ex-bourbon, and
Oh.
then the final 3 years of its life in a toasted oak cask, right?
Mm.
There's a lot going on there. So you got that toasted oak sweetness that we talked about, which I think may be some of that char, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And
For sure.
then that Chardonnay yeast, which I think is bringing some of that sweetness through, and then the deeper hearts cut from the Loman stills, which is giving you some of that deeper sweetness. It's really unctuous spirit. I mean, dude, there is so much going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. And a low number of bottles available too. We're showing 211 here.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah. 211 of a really cracking 17-year-old Inchmurrin from Loch Lomond.
Okay. Wow, that's not a lot. Well, I mean, it's 17 years old, so
Right.
that makes sense. Oh, you know what? And this would have gone from a barrel to a hoggy as well. And so the other thing that you've got going on in the maturation process is oxygen doing its work in the
Mm-hmm.
maturation process in the hoggy, really softening up the spirit, rounding out some of that sweetness that I was talking about on the finish there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for this time of year, when we were originally selecting the casks,
Hmm.
that peated cask Auchentoshan and this wine yeast Loman still Inchmurrin, like they're doing such interesting things and varied things, really head turning things.
Mhm.
If there's ever the season to sit and contemplate a whiskey that's doing something different, this
Mm,
is that season.
mm,
I would implore people not to sleep on this. This
mhm.
is really
Especially, like,
cracking.
not on your stomach, like, if you are you a side sleeper? Like, either way, like, that would hurt you.
I tell you, if you're trying to drink while sleeping on your back, like that
Yeah,
can go horribly wrong.
yeah. Mm,
Horribly wrong. All right, do we have a banner here? Because
we
I've
do.
picked up my second sample.
Alright, so there you go. 17-year-old, we target $10 per year, this is 165, right? Yeah, in a time of 10% tariffs, that's us absorbing 10% tariffs, so solid.
Yeah. Yeah. And getting it just a scoosh under $10 per year.
Mhm.
Something, a little gift at this time of year.
Happy Festivus.
There we go. That's a terrific Loch Lomond. I know Loch Lomond has its fans out there. If you're still learning about Loch Lomond, grab that Inchmurrin and grab a wine yeast.
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
often do you get a wine yeast out of Scotland?
I love that. I really love that. I love the
There's a lot at play
specificity.
there.
Um,
All right.
yeah.
Oh,
Jason, Jason, are you ready for what's about to be poured? Well, you've poured yours. Am I
yeah,
ready for what's about to
I'm
be poured?
hearing AC/DC for those about to rock in the
Mm.
back of my head.
Oh man.
There's no words. This is a hard. If there's ever a quote unquote hard part to the job, like having to describe a 2004 cask from this distillery, like,
Oh,
come on, man.
dude.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just load up the video. Just watch us nosing and sipping and nodding our heads. Like, yup. Mm-hmm. Nothing makes me feel like more king of the hill than sitting with a good pour from this distillery.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And this is where I would do a proper Hatton pour.
Oh
With this,
yeah.
right?
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh. I would do 3 Hatton pours.
Ooh, there you go. I like the way you're talking. Keep talking, I'm almost there. Mm, yeah, so
I
t yes.
the most obvious note for me, the leading note for me is the beach bonfire. Like
Okay.
it's a note that I love. I talked in the Inchmurrin about the lizard brain and kind of the
Mm,
sensory brain and the memories. Like 18 years old in Scotland in the summer,
mhm.
beach bonfires were de rigueur, right? We
Oh,
were in a
mm,
in a small coastal community. You'd
yeah,
you'd congregate at the beach. You'd all bring your booze, and a beach bonfire was
yeah,
just the order of the day. So this I'm deeply connected to the nose on this.
yeah. Well, we have some new friends that moved here to Guilford, and we made quick friends with them. In fact, Haida works with the wife in the couple, this woman named Tanis, she's a goddamn hoot. I love the shit out of her. She's so much fun. And her husband, Joe, is like a master baker, like insane baker. And he makes a honey cake like you would, like you wouldn't die for it, you would kill for it. And
In
it
Reno?
is
Would you kill a man in Reno just to watch him give
just to
up
watch
his
it
honey
die.
cake?
No, actually, I got that line. There's this old Norwegian death metal band or black metal band, and one of the reviews was, "There's some bands you would die for. Emperor is a band you would kill for." And but right, I mean, this is it. This is his honey cake, and it's
I love honey
so
cake so
right.
much.
Yeah, it's right.
So much.
It's so right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notes of chocolate in here as well. You know, flaked sea salt on dark chocolate truffles. Oh,
Getting
dark chocolate truffles.
candied orange
December.
peel.
Carl.
Getting the yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though the ones I've had from him were like Lefroy chocolate truffles,
Correct.
and
Correct.
this is not that. This is not
Correct.
that hefty. No.
Correct. I just got the chocolate truffles and it made me think of Carl, as it always does.
Do you get the like candied orange peels going on in here?
Yeah, it's lovely. Such orange and dark chocolate is such a classic combo for me from this distillery.
Oh, interesting. Well, for this particular decade, or this sort of time in this decade, and I would argue our good friend Ollie Chilton
Mm-hmm.
would
Very well.
know this particular time range with this distillery, because he knows this distillery. All right, are we ready to taste? I'll come back to the nose.
Honestly, I forgot that I hadn't tasted. I'm just so deep into the nose on this.
All right, you know, I'm going to taste, because I
Oh my
can't
gosh.
hold back any longer.
While you're tasting, without leading the witness on the palate, I get just a little bit of raspberry simple syrup around the edges of the nose. Like that fruit is just, there's the orange, there's the raspberry,
Oh, dude.
there's the honey, there's the dark chocolate, there's the sea salt, and there's the bonfire. Beach bonfire.
Where we were getting dried cherries on that Inchmarin, I'm getting like fresh, juicy cherries on the palate here. And I'm getting some of that sea salt that we got on the nose, but I'm also getting like tea, like black tea, maybe like flavored blackberry black tea going on here.
Yeah, black tea is a great call on that.
Right?
Oh,
Even is that like normally I wouldn't get more like tropical kind of fruitiness, but I am getting a little bit here. It's more fruity than I remember.
it's so contemplative.
Oh boy. Wow. Oh man. Oh, it's like biting into a kumquat, but it's less tart. It's not tart. It's the flavor of the kumquat without the tartness. Right?
Yeah, my focus right now is on the cask.
Okay.
Like there's soft oak. There's a little bit of ground grey pepper. There's very delicate peat on this. It's almost like more earthy than anything. And then, yeah, that you were talking black tea. I'm getting blackberry tea. You know, one of those classic Catoctin Creek notes as it goes into the back of the finish. But this is not Catawton Creek. This is Scotland. This is Hebridean Island.
A little lava cake, a little chocolatiness going on here. You know, normally with this distillery, when it's in sherry cask, it's more miss than it is hit for my palate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because it can kind of get sort of too dirty and naughty for my palate. Like it doesn't let the fruits come out, but the fruits are like really present here.
I know the answer. So this is second fill Spanish oak Oloroso. And
Not
so
Oloroso. Not Oloroso.
not Oloroso?
Not Oloroso. It's not
I'm
Oloroso.
looking at the wrong market ahead of Jess correcting me. Spanish Oak PX second fill.
PX sherry, my friend. There you go. Someone just drove off the road. PX, 2004.
Pop up the bottle and we can have the grand reveal of this 2004 cask.
All right, you ready? Dun, 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 dun.
Look at that.
21-year-old named Bowmore.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That I'm just looking at that label. Like we are putting out a 21-year-old named Bowmore. Makes me think, actually, just for viewers, it's just lingering over my shoulder here. But yeah, that's one of my favorite SCM bottles of all time. Was our 30-year-old named Bowmore that had a very pleasing bit of the FWP on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sadly, this one does not.
Does not
No
on
FWP.
this 21.
No.
Oh, and then you return to the nose on it, and it's just beach bonfire on the nose.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's going to make a ton of people very, very happy at this time of year. Even fewer bottles than the Inchmurrin. This one is down at 188 bottles. And 188 bottles at, don't want to speak ahead of the banner going up, but
let me just say this before I put this banner up. I will say, and I'm not going to mention the bottler. I will say that I was in Texas just last week, and I saw some I think it was a 24-year-old Bowmore in a shop down there that it was going for. It was just around $900 for the bottle, right?
That's not what we're selling this for.
Yeah. So this is a 21-year-old Bowmore, and this is $250. We're selling drinkers, not museum pieces.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Share it. Pour it. Bring over friends. Whiskey's meant for opening and sharing. That is what we have done. It's what we set out to do. I remember years ago, we bottled our 24-year-old undisclosed bourbon. We sold that for $250 a bottle.
Yeah, $295.
Like, was it? Oh, sorry, $295. Sorry, and people are like, "Are you crazy? The price that you could have sold that for?" Like, no, we sold drinkers. That's what we did. This is what we do.
Also turns out we are crazy.
Yeah, and also turns out we're crazy.
But no, you and I stand behind our pricing continually. Every tasting I do, every podcast we do, every interview we do, pricing matters. And very much to Michael Applebaum's email that we kicked off with, we are whiskey geeks. Are we buying this? Are we sharing this? Are we pouring this? And the answer to all of that is yes.
Yeah. No, I think it's fuck yes. That's what I think it is.
Controversial.
Yeah, this really rides the line. And I said it before when I first got a taste of it, and I got more of a tropical fruit quality to it. Like by the time 2004 came around, like Bowmore was getting into more of a minerality, at least to the bottlings that I have had, and out of that more tropical fruit quality. And so the fact that I'm getting some of the minerality, but also some of the tropical fruits, I think is really, really interesting and exciting because for my palate, like it's the tropical fruit quality that that's what I go for in Bowmore. If I'm not going for FWP like old 80s, which is, hen's teeth at this point, like that is really what I love in Bowmore.
Yeah, that's interesting you bring up minerality. For me, round about this time, Bowmore was getting very grain forward for me, very grain
Oh,
led.
okay.
Everything kind of felt like you were in the malt barns.
Okay.
Um, and again, like, yeah, I like the FWP of it. For me on the Bowmores, I like probably this was in the 90s into the early 2004 kind of period, but it's the chocolate and the orange.
Mm.
That's the
Yeah, right.
component for Bowmore that I remember when I first found Bowmore in 96, 97.
Oh,
Um,
the old Mariner
those
bottling.
Right, right. And anytime you got it in sherry,
Mm,
there was chocolate, there was orange. So
mm,
those are the very favorable parts for me with Bowmore. But speaking of that era, speaking of that time of discovery in my life,
mm,
our third cask
mm,
takes me back to my early journey of
mhm.
discovery. And
Yeah.
and I have to say, just on opening nose, I actually today this opened on smoky bacon frazzles, which is kind of like a thin corn crisp, like a corn puff crisp
Hmm.
in the UK, but oftentimes even for regular potato chips, a smoky bacon note to this distillery for me. Um,
Huh.
we also in the notes talk about kippers, which uh, for me, you've stayed in enough Scottish bed and breakfasts.
Mm.
Kippers used to be the staple of Scottish bed and breakfast, and I think
Oh.
it's given way now to smoked salmon because everybody's
Yeah.
bougie.
Yeah.
But kippers, smoked haddock, used to be one of the breakfast items on offer. But it really, I think in both of these instances, whether it's the smoky bacon or it's the smoked haddock, there's such a smoked food component here.
Mm.
Oh, it's so good,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the first time I ever heard the word kippers was in Young Frankenstein. Uh,
We maybe mention Young Frankenstein as much as we mention grilled pineapple. I feel like that's a staple of our episodes.
yeah, I think so. I think so. Now we need to watch Young Frankenstein.
Always,
Again.
always. Yeah, it's funny. I'm getting a scene. I showed Zev and Tamara Time Bandits
Oh,
last weekend. They could not have enjoyed it less, which was really heartbreaking. But the mum and dad there are so quintessentially English, and there's a note that we describe on the nose here, which is opens on kippers, sat on a 1970s breakfast table with milky tea and buttered white toast with a cigarette burning in the ashtray, right? Like that is the parents from Time Bandits in a nutshell. Makes me so happy. It's so precise. I would say, for these three casts that we've tasted on today's episode, right? They're so connected to memory, and
mm,
I've got such distinct places that these take me to in that olfactory system connecting to that lizard brain. This is
yeah.
why I whiskey. This is the stuff I love about whiskey.
I think the only thing that holds Time Bandits together is nostalgia. Like I tried to watch it again from putting myself in other people's shoes, and I think it may be unpenetrable.
I I wouldn't go, no.
You don't think so?
And I'm trying to disconnect myself from the nostalgia of it. And granted, the nostalgia, there's no doubt about it.
Tough.
I think they redid it, didn't they? There's a remake of Time Bandits.
There is, and it has the same feel to it. It does have the same feel. And granted, I didn't watch the whole thing because like I ended up falling asleep because I was coming off a trip, and but it had the same feel to it. I was like, oh, I kind of like this,
Yeah,
and then I didn't get
yeah,
back to it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think Time Bandits is of its era. And yet I was trying to watch it through their eyes over the weekend. I was like, but I could see where this part of the story is kind of interesting. And the idea of yeah. What is it, 1981? It's hard to bring
Yes,
1981 into
80, yeah, 80,
2025.
yes, right. It's tough. I mean, you need to be on drugs. You need to
That's not true.
even as a child, you need to be on drugs.
That's
Just
not,
I got a question for you. So there's a
yeah,
note on the nose that you wrote,
yeah.
which was uh bothy smoke peak
Mm,
around the edges.
it's so
And
funny we say that because I was just getting bothy smoke on the Bowmore.
right.
so,
And
so
so
now I've got bothy smoke here.
these are official tasting notes for an American public. So
Yeah.
can you explain bothy smoke
Yeah,
peaking
yeah.
on the
Some long-time listeners have heard me explain this a couple of times on the podcast, but the bothy smoke is sometimes when you're up a mountain in Scotland, there'll be a stone building, a very basic stone building that will give you shelter from the elements. It'll give you a place to kip, to sleep
Mm,
overnight. And sometimes you may set a very basic fire in that bothy. And so, to my mind, it's the idea of being adjacent to the elements
mm,
while getting a fire going that's more smoke than flame.
mhm,
But you're really burning it from whatever elements you've got
mhm,
round about you,
mhm.
right? There's not a lot of dry forests on
Oh, okay.
Scottish hillsides
I
ready
see.
to pull, kindling from. So you've probably started a pretty wet fire from,
Mm,
pretty well. You've set a pretty smoky fire from
yep.
some pretty wet wood. So it's always a struggle to get it going, but that idea of wet wood with stone building, with wind and rain, and even a little bit of chill in your bones. Like
Mhm.
that's the element for me that amazingly is comforting. and and I'm
Yeah.
you're not going to freeze to death on a Scottish hillside.
Yeah.
Huzzah! Who's got the drams?
I
So
think anybody who's gone camping and who's dealt with, like, a rainy night
right,
and they're
right,
dealing with a lean-to or a damp
right,
tent and, like, you
right.
gotta make do, like, I totally get that. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's the place for me where Isla peat can sometimes lean over towards more Highland peat,
Mm, mhm,
where you're getting wood smoke out of this rather than an iodine or a seaweed or a
mhm,
sphagnum moss or
mhm,
something like that.
yeah. So while you were explaining that, I took my first
Mm,
sip and it was like so bright. Like this went from soft,
mm.
deep, kind of heavier dampness, like you were saying, to bright and engaging. And there's cinnamon and some red hots, which I remember us talking about. But there was
Yeah.
some green,
Mm,
some greenery there, like green broken branches in there, and, like, there's a freshness to this that I don't quite remember.
mm. Yeah, lively black pepper again here
Mhm,
on this one for me. Yeah, and I think the one again back from selection was it was a bit weird to get white chocolate cheesecake from
mhm,
this distillery. This
100%.
this was not expected. The kippers, the smoky bacon, even a little bit of the cinnamon, certainly the sea salt, the cinnamon red hots. Like those are consistent for this distillery. White chocolate cheesecake.
Shortbread. There's just
Yeah,
like
butter.
good shortbread, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, previous casts of this we have described as having like sugar cookie on a beach blanket, sugar
Yeah.
cookie eaten at the beach,
Yeah.
and so that buttery element
Yeah.
has come through in other casks
Yeah.
from this distillery.
Yeah, it was just the brightness took me by really took me by surprise. I don't remember that from the cast selection process, but it was so wonderful, so welcome. Yeah.
So salty, so
Mhm.
much
Mm.
salt. It's on the lips, it's on the gums, it's on the tongue. Yeah, that's a take the salt out the corners of your mouth kind of dram. Oh,
Mm. Oh, yeah, this is right. We talk about distilleries having eras, right? This distillery also has its eras. And I think this is riding some lines here as well. I don't think, at least for my palate, I think is doing like you had said, oh, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect a white chocolate cheesecake from this, right?
yeah,
And didn't
that's the
expect certain
surprising part.
things. Yeah. And I don't know if
But
that's cask
the salt
driven
to
or
me speaks to the minerality.
does it? Okay. Yeah, of course that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. What about the second fill American Oak PX on here?
right. And that's where I think, what's that bringing to the table? Is that bringing in some of the cheesecake? Is it bringing in some of the like is that where the shortbread is coming in? I,
Yeah,
I,
yeah, but a bit of the spice. Perhaps the umami quality of it is delivered by the cask
it could very well be. Like it's
because it is
really,
very umami.
yeah. Oh, mommy. Yeah,
Ooh,
that's a good whiskey.
really good, really good. All right, reveal
Mm, all right.
from
Let me see this.
2015.
All right, here we go.
Hmm.
Ba-dum. For our listeners out there, you don't see it, but our viewers do. This is a 9-year-old Williamson, another island distillery. We couldn't name it, but it's a South Shore distillery that is neither Ardbeg nor is it Lagavulin. And we all know Port Natruan doesn't have a bottling yet. Have they start running spirit? Well, either way, it's not the other two. Second
Yeah,
fill PX Hogshead, and you said American Oak, right?
yeah,
Where the Bowmore we just had was Spanish Oak PX.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, definitely worth a side by side.
Mm-hmm. Mm, mm. Ooh,
Definitely poundable on
and now
that
I'm gonna go back
Williamson.
to the Bowmore. Oh, Jason, if you go back to that Bowmore, oh wow, it's like smoked Mexican chocolate.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh wow.
Even as I go back to my empty glass of the Bowmore,
Mm.
still with a brightness. Ah,
Oh, and the palate is full on tropical fruits with the Bowmore. I love that. I love doing the side by side with
yeah,
peated
always.
whiskeys because you can really, pun fully intended, you could dig past the peat and just find all of those other notes.
Yeah, even going back to something that isn't peated, going back to that Inchmurrin,
Oh,
it
here
just
we go,
opens up all
Jason.
those red fruits. The strawberries come through to the fore in context with the Bowmore and the Williamson.
Oh, and good.
Hmm.
The cereal comes through as well. Like good
Hmm.
sweet barley comes through.
Yeah, yeah. 3 crackers, nothing to hide behind here. Do you want to pop a price up on there for the
Yeah, let me
Williamson? Because again, there you go, $100. Second
$100.
fill PX sherry on that one. 9-year-old Williamson from a South Shore distillery.
There you go.
Yeah, really pleased with that. Putting 6 out of. I love the fact that the calendar gods have smiled upon us, and putting out 6 bottles on November 6th makes me smile. Just like last year, we put out 6 American bottles on June 6th.
Right.
Like those little moments
Yeah.
of synchronicity in the world, in the universe, just they tickle me. I like being tickled.
Good you go.
Yeah.
Mm.
So in Inchmurren, 17-year-old at 165, Bowmore, 21-year-old at 250, and Williamson, 9-year-old at 100. There will be a bundle of
There will be a bundle.
six.
Yep. And yeah, and again, along with these 6 new bottlings comes our new brand spanking new website, which if you had been with us in previous years, let's say you've got history going back to 2012, 13, 14, 15, you name it. Your old purchase history will be there. And like Jason had said, the history that you may have built in the past 18 months or so, we're working on bringing that into this new website. I hope it will be there for the launch. Work in progress. Yeah, there we go.
All right, there we go. Go ponder. Definitely subscribe below, please. Always appreciated. Michael, thanks so much for such a kind email. Knowing how we're seen, knowing how we're viewed, knowing how we're thought of, knowing that we're being seen doing what we want to be doing means the world. So thank you so much for taking the time to send an email that really made our days. Really, really did. So thanks for that. If anybody else wants to drop us a line, info@singlecasknation.com. New website is coming, new livery, new caricatures, celebration of the nation. Joshua, you are the nation.
I am the nation. That's how it goes, Jason, right?
I love it. I love it. I want to hear it from the nation. Say it loud, say it proud, say it early, say it often. I am the nation. All right, we're recording. Let's.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hatton with One Nation Under Whiskey. Let me try that again. It didn't work. I didn't know where my fingers were. They're there. All right. Hello, everybody.
End of
This
your
is.
arms?
Are they on my arms?
End of your arms?
Yeah. Edward Penis Hands.
Hot dog fingers?
Like on everywhere, everything all at once.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
That's it. Yep. Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hatton. I can't do it now. Hello, everybody. Shit. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ.